The following contest is a special referee match. Please welcome the special referee for this match from Los Angeles, California, the Blue Power.
CJ, just tell me.
And the participants first, from Cleveland, Ohio, the Nightmare.
What? Basically going, dude. Yeah, like me too. You too close. Most hated punk.
From CC, weighing 285 pounds.
There's the bell, and it's time to get extreme. Ow! I can't believe this is a no disqualification. Whoa! Watch it! The Cells claimed another victim. This is unbelievable. What? Careful! Oh no, King, you went right through that opening. Watch it! Oh God! Oh my God! Did you? A slam! Ah! Through the roof to the mat below! My God! What? Careful! Oh no, King, you went right through that opening. Watch it! Oh God! Oh my God! Did you see him bounce? King, that had to be a 20-foot fall. That was awful. Sometimes the moves in no disqualification matches cause as much damage to you as they do your opponent. That's always something that you want to avoid, in my opinion. But then again, I don't really like to get hurt. Careening spine first through the barricade. Nice reversal from Ryback. What a match. He's enjoying this. Ryback. And the sound of human flesh on the ground echoes around the arena. These men are playing Russian roulette with their careers in this environment. The impressive suplex. Here comes the steel chair. Watch out. Ooh, head first into the chair. Oh, man. And he missed that one. Dropped right on that chair. Now back to the ring. He is definitely going to have those ribs looked at after this match. Oh, my gosh. Under the rules of a no disqualification match, the referee is powerless to stop this one. Ryback Punk's in trouble. And he gets back in, controlling the waist. At what point, King, do those thoughts creep in of, what do I have to do to put this match to rest?
And I don't know. I don't know as a
Young, we might be seeing.
Watch it. Oh, Troy. Come on, this is not this. Look at this. Could it be? You know what?
This is it.
Look at this. Look at this. The push is not. Look at this. Oh,
Put him away.
he's left the ring. This could get interesting.
And we're going back between the ropes, controlling the head.
Please, he's gonna damage
Each of these competitors is looking for the slightest hint of weakness in the other. Hooking away, they kicked out. Nicely officiated there. Ouch! Into the cover, hooks the leg. And now the official begins the count. 2.
Hey, what in the world is our official doing?
What the fuck?
Bam!
Look at those eyes.
Oh, yeah, this could be big. A slam! Ah!
Through the roof to the mat below.
My God! What? Careful!
Oh no, Kingy went right through that opening.
Watch it! Oh, God! Oh,
I'm
my
about to show you a
God! Did you see?
second.
A slam!
Through the roof to the mat below.
My God! Careful!
Oh no, Kingy went
made a
right
way
through
to
that
it,
opening. The
yeah.
cell.
And he had to have plummeted over 20 feet to the canvas below.
This will it be? Kick out. Even our guest referee can't believe that one.
Oh, mama!
Watch it.
He's looking up.
We might be. Look at this.
This is it.
This is it.
I think he's through playing around. How much more can Youngblood take? There's a cover.
And they kick out. Our guest referee right on top.
Whoa! Whoa! The referee is watching this one closely.
What's happened here? The match is over.
The most hated Punk wins all the time.